Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. Today I want to cover Tirreno-Adriatico. Now I told you guys yesterday on Beyond the Coverage that I wanted to talk about Wout van Aert's chances of winning Tirreno-Adriatico now that Tadej Pogacar is over at Paris-Nice. Then I woke up this morning and bam! Guess what? Primoz Roglic is making his debut for Jumbo-Visma here at Tirreno-Adriatico. So that's changed the chemistry of the whole Jumbo-Visma squad. Now originally I looked at the 7-day parcours and I thought with the first individual time trial, Wout van Aert's there, he can win that, get some time bonuses. The next two sprint stages, he can of course bring some more time bonuses before we start getting into the mountain stages and the shorter circuit stages here at Tirreno-Adriatico. And that could possibly give Wout van Aert a legitimate shot at winning the general classification. But with the news of Primoz Roglic coming over, starting his 2023 season here with Jumbo-Visma, that means you got to expect the Slovenian to be a big-time favorite. Now, when you read the press releases, of course, Primoz Roglic says there's no pressure on him, or his team says anyways, that there's no pressure on Primoz Roglic to win. And that's true. There won't be any pressure, but how many times have we seen Primoz Roglic show up at a bike race and not be competitive? Now, you know when he was training and he's doing all his camps at altitude and such, that he would have been looking at his power numbers and know that he's in the kind of condition that he can come in here and be competitive. Remember, Tadej Pogacar, they're at Paris-Nice, going to battle against Jonas Vingegaard, so that leaves this Tirreno-Adriatico open for Primoz Roglic to go in there and just demolish the field if he has some good form. It's a big if, but not too big because he's Primoz Roglic, my number 2 best rider in the professional peloton. So you got to ask yourself, can he win? Over the other favorites from UAE Team Emirates, Adam Yates is there, Almeida's there, Brandon McNulty's there. So they got a host of fabulous climbers along with Davide Formula over at UAE Team Emirates that can put some pressure on Jumbo-Visma, but we're talking Primoz Roglic. So when we're looking at these two races, Paris-Nice and Tirreno-Adriatico, why would Primoz Roglic take Tirreno-Adriatico? Well, the main reason why is Paris-Nice is always a lot of stress. The races are a little bit shorter, a lot more intense, and a ton of stress on smaller roads, and the weather can be bad. I remember doing Paris-Nice in the 90s, 1999 possibly, when one of my feet froze so bad it hurt for a month afterwards. So basically you knew I must have had some frostbite in the toes that year. It was cold and miserable. Now, when you get over here to Italy, can it rain? Sure, it's rain. I've gone over there and had to fight in the rain. I remember going over there in 2012 and racing when I had the race leader's jersey and lost it in the individual time trial on the last stage to Vincenzo Nibali. But then the next year, 2013, it was something miserable. And was the penultimate stage there, the circuit up the super hard climb that blew out my knee. And that's basically what ended my season until we got over to, of course, to Tour of Utah and the Vuelta. So, Tirreno-Adriatico normally is a great place to begin your season if you're Primoz Roglic trying to target Giro d'Italia. Originally, he was going to just do Catalonia, so now he'll do here and then go to Catalonia. This is a great place because normally it's calm and relaxed. The stages are much longer than Paris-Nice. We have 4 of them at around 200 kilometers throughout the 7-day race here. And so that's why a lot of the classic guys like Tirreno-Adriatico, because they're getting ready for Milan-San Remo, the 300-kilometer first monument of the 2023 season. They love all those big-time favorites. Classic guys love coming to Tirreno-Adriatico for the relaxed atmosphere, the few chances to win the field sprints, and then, of course, it's normally just one mountain stage and a few maybe one hard circuit stage. Looks like this year there might be 2 hard circuit stages that have some good climbing, 7% pitches in there, which should be ideal for Primoz Roglic to get his legs going. So the first stage, when we're talking about 12 kilometers long, the individual time trial, this will show us right away where Primoz Roglic is. If he goes out there and blitzes this 12-kilometer time trial, then he can take the next 2 days easier behind the Jumbo-Visma train and just have Wout van Aert going in for those field sprints on stages 2 and 3. And then in the mountain stages, we get to see the big-time battle between Jumbo-Visma and UAE Team Emirates. Now, Jumbo-Visma come with a stock team when we're talking about the guys looking after Primoz Roglic and Wout van Aert, because they have Wilco Kelderman, Thijs Benoot, who won Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne, Koen Bouwman, Attila Valters, Dylan van Barle, the winner of Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. So they got a solid team there at Jumbo-Visma. And remember when I told you yesterday on Beyond the Coverage that really what matters when we're looking at the two riders, Jonas Vingegaard, UAE team Emirates Tadej Pogacar, is whether or not if one rider gets dropped. Not who necessarily wins, but whether or not if one rider gets dropped. But when we're looking at the teams, if Jumbo-Visma was to win Paris-Nice with Vingegaard, which he quite possibly can with the team time trial, getting some bonus time right there against UAE team Emirates Tadej Pogacar. So if Jumbo wins there, and we get down to UAE team, and we get over to Tirreno-Adriatico, we're talking UAE team Emirates and Jumbo-Visma again. If Jumbo-Visma was to win both, it will hurt. It will hurt the UAE team because they know they're going to be behind the 8 ball as we're starting to come into the big part of the season with the Classics starting and, of course, getting into the Grand Tours, Giro d'Italia, and Tour de France in July. So keep in mind, when we're looking at Tirreno-Adriatico, great place for Primož Roglic to start, and he's still got competition. When we're talking UAE team Emirates, of course, we're talking Almeida, like I said, and we're talking Adam Yates. Remember, Adam Yates put on a good show against Remco Evenepoel at the UAE Tour. But when we're talking about looking at the other favorites, you have Julian Alaphilippe, the Frenchman, and he's already been winning. So Julian Alaphilippe can put some pressure there on the guys. And, of course, Vlasov would be my big-time favorite when we're looking at the other riders to put pressure on Primož Roglic from Bora-Hansgrohe. Of course, he has Jai Hindley there on his team, but I think Vlasov might be the better of the two riders, more explosive when we're talking about this one-week race here at Tirreno-Adriatico. Other guys to keep in mind, of course, Ben O'Connor from AG2R. He's just making his debut season here. He started racing over in Australia, but this will be his first time racing over in Europe. One last guy to keep in mind is Geraint Thomas. Now, Geraint Thomas normally uses the early part of the season as training races, so I don't expect much out of Geraint Thomas. But if he was to come in here solid, remember back in 2016 he did win Paris-Nice. And back in 2018, I think he went third at these early season races here at Tirreno-Adriatico, if I remember correctly, riding fairly solid. In 2018, he won the Tour de France. So, can Geraint Thomas come in here for Ineos and put on a show? I'm not sure, and I'm not holding up any hope for Geraint Thomas. But it is possible. He has done it in the past. So, Tirreno-Adriatico is going to be a good show to watch, and you're going to have Paris-Nice at the same time. Here in the Butterfly Effect, I'll try to cover one race, of course, maybe some little shorts, but it'd be difficult for me to cover both. So make sure you guys tune in, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next edition of the Butterfly Effect, Strade Bianche, which starts tomorrow. Should be a big-time showdown, and my big favorite, Julian Alaphilippe. I hope he puts on a show after crashing out of last year's edition in that spectacular crosswind section on the white sands. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next edition real soon.